welcome back to the Wonderful 101.
We're like midway through a mission, right?
Yeah, this is the first mission. We're just picking up where we left off and seeing what the wonderful Blossom City has to offer.
I think I know what's sort of annoying me about this game. The music doesn't change. And I've watched like a few later levels too, and it's always the same like Avengers fanfare. Like it's, I don't know.
It does change in like the latter level. Well, not just the latter levels, just different settings.
Okay.
And different parts of different levels. Like this is sort of like, I guess, the generic sort of action-y type of music while you're like going through like the big levels, but like
I find it a little repetitive.
The fact that the music changes is actually a big part of this game.
Interesting. Jordan, I've heard this game is extremely long. How long is this game about?
It's longer than you think it has any right being.
Give me like an estimate.
God, I don't know. I don't really know what estimate to give it, but it is very long. It's longer than, I'd say it's longer than Bayonetta.
Well, yeah, those games are fairly short, right? Those games are 15, 20, like standard action game length.
Yeah, this is
like
longer.
40 hours?
Yeah. Yeah, it might be, because, like, you'd think that this thing would be, like, you know, Bayonetta length or something like that. Like, you know, generic action game you could finish in an afternoon or something. But, like, this game is actually, like, stupid long, and that surprised me a lot. So, what you see here is, like, one of the special, enemies, and you have to, like, really know what you're doing against them. Like, for this guy, you have to, like, reflect his stuff back at him with the guard technique, and then you just sort of reflect himself back when he charges at you.
What's that Jello thing that keeps coming up that you guys morph into?
Oh, that's the guard. Unite Guts.
Oh, that's the guard. Okay.
Yeah. So, what I said earlier in the previous part was, like, you have to sort of know all your forms in order to sort of play this game properly, and know, like, when to use them. And that is one of the bigger parts where you have to, like, really know your forms. So here is also a really frustrating and hard part. You have to sort of not get bombed.
I'm still pretty confused about this game. Just in terms of, like, I feel like I'm not fully grasping not what's going on. I can follow what's happening. Whoa. That's a big building. I can follow what's happening, but I'm not sure. I guess I'm confused about, like, what the strategy is a lot of the time and, like, what your hands are actually doing.
Your hands are usually just sort of pressing the X button, doing your team attack, and then using either the touchscreen or the right stick, and just putting whatever shape you need, and then wailing on the A button, as well as, like, watching where everything is. And the funny thing is, like, yeah, it's like we said earlier, it's like a lot to take in. This game gets a lot more insane.
Oh, I'd imagine, yeah. Yeah,
so you kind of have to, like, this is, like, a lot to take in, but it gets actually a lot more a lot crazier as the game goes
I feel
on.
like I'm gonna watch this whole playthrough and kind of have no idea what's happening.
Dan, at some point you should play the demo, because your perceived confusion will become a reality.
Thanks.
Anytime.
That helps.
Like,
that's not the answer I was expecting.
Jordan, how, like, did you, on your first playthrough, like, very first playthrough playing this game, how long did it take for you to really, like, jive with the controls and get a strategy sort of, like, I don't know, was there, like, a steep learning curve to play this game?
I feel like critically this game was somewhat, like, fairly well received, but it felt like a lot of people reviewing it were sort of confused by it, and, like, I'm not sure if, like, a lot of the people that I've talked to who have played this game, like, haven't beaten it, or haven't gotten super far in it, and were sort of perplexed by it. So I'm also curious about this answer.
Sorry, what was the question? Like,
like, how long did...
I guess just like, how long it took you to sort of grasp what was going on.
Well, okay, so, let's see. When I first played it, it probably took me, I think, the first maybe 3.5 levels before it just sort of clicked with me. And it's like I understand, like, a lot of it is like there's a lot of crap going on, but once you sort of accept and are able to sort of grasp and conceptualize that you are like 100 heroes and trying to like fight these larger than life sort of threats, it really starts to jive. And you really start to understand what all your powers are. And the thing is, though, this game actually throws you for a loop for quite a bit, because in almost every operation or level, like, there is some sort of like unique game mechanic that is introduced either for that level, or you get a new sort of wonderful guy who gives you a new form. And so the game mechanics themselves are constantly changing. But once you start to get into sort of the groove of how this game works, it becomes really. So a lot of it becomes second nature, and a lot of it just becomes easy to understand because you have dealt with a lot of things before that point.
There's so many things happening on the screen. I don't know what to ask you about first. Like the batteries. Look at that. they grow in size and then they minimize again. Well, that is because when you make your shape, you can make them either big or just really quickly small. And when you make them big, they become like a stronger form of that Unite Morph for a temporary amount of time. And then they revert to their regular strength. Okay.
Oh no.
When you're done recording everything, I might have to borrow this game just so I have a better idea. Because that demo did absolutely nothing for me.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, the demo should have started with that.
I'm very intrigued. Like, it's not. I'm not throwing shade. Like, I know that people who like this game really, really like it, and it seems really like unique and interesting. I'm just having a difficult time sort of latching onto it.
Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong either, Jordan. Like, I find it impressive that you're able to like play this game so like well. How many times have you played this game, actually? Is this your second?
Well, I played it a lot, just sort of as a romp, because I was like, oh, whatever, I'll play the Wonderful 101. But I completed the game now 3 times.
Wow, nice.
Yeah, so I'm like a really big fan of this game, and I'm actually like, when they were doing the Smash polls for the characters, I was like, okay, I want Wonder Red in this game because they're never gonna put in Bayonetta, and like somehow Bayonetta got in.
Bayonetta in! Surprise!
I could see them as like a trophy assist.
Yeah, well, they were trophies in Smash.
Yeah, I feel like if you're gonna put one of these characters into Smash, you sort of have to make them as this weird, like, one organism made up of several smaller organisms or something to like really capture the feel. Like, it has to be like, this is 100 people, like small people just stacked into one body or something like really ridiculous, right?
Like, I actually sort of theorized it as like an Olimar type character.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That would totally work.
Except cooler.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, way cooler. I don't like Olimar in that game at all.
You have to get the purple Pikmin, right? Those are the heavy hitters?
Yeah.
I think so.
What I like about this game, though, is like QTEs kind of suck, but they become really sort of interactive QTEs for this game because
it feels. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Like, it makes QTEs feel a lot better because they have a bit like a lot more stuff happens. You're able to do a shape instead of just press a button. Sometimes you press a button, but also every sort of QuickTime event is sort of contextualized. Like, they'll have different sort of contexts for you to press certain buttons or do certain things. Like, there's actually no, I can't say some of them without spoiling it, but you'll notice that sometimes it'll ask you to mash like the A button, for example, but it won't just say press A. It'll have some sort of prompt that contextualizes why you're pressing A, and it actually makes it a lot better.
Right, I think like this. It reminds me, just seeing that last QuickTime event reminded me of like DMC and the way that game does its QuickTime events, and basically always makes you do QuickTime events with like the sort of push-pull mechanic. And so it's a QuickTime event, but it's contextualized within the gameplay mechanics that they've already set up. And it seems like this is doing a similar thing, where it's being like, yo, you need a hand for this thing, so like do the motion you would do anyways to make a hand.
Yeah, and what I do love about it though is that, especially when it comes to the Unite Morph QuickTime events, it makes it feel a lot more organic because you're like, oh, this is a context I can actually use this ability, and a lot of the time it's like and it's in a way you would have probably done or figured out anyway.
I like this guy. This guy looks like Danny Trejo.
He's sorry to cut you off, Jordan, but he's a school janitor.
Yeah, you'll learn a lot about the wonderful ones as well as the enemies, like this guy.
Man, I really like I really like the character design in this game, and like I really like this enemy thing and how the screen changed and did all that stuff. I thought was really cool.
This is like a very sort of Pikmin like mini boss to sort of beat. You have to sort of use your little guys to sort of get on top of him and distract him and damage him, and then eventually he gets distracted and you just wail on him.
Yeah, this is like a super.
Oh yeah, and you can pick them up.
Nice.
Ah, cool.
Power of teamwork.
Yeah, and he's actually Lego.
Oh, okay. Sure.
You thought it was an alien robot,
twist.
but it was actually Lego.
Wow.
Can't go on an episode without a JoJo reference.
Oh god, this game is technically full of JoJo references.
No.
Yeah.
That's just what I needed.
Everybody needs
Rega.
JoJo references.
Kaku. Is this guy speaking Tingle's language?
Yeah, so P-Star, he's just sort of your little helper. Kagu
Little
Rega.
buddy.
So basically, if you go to some areas, you can unlock these sort of special, like, bonus levels. Throughout this playthrough, I'm probably not going to do all of them because, except for like this one, because I mean they're cool and they're nice challenges, but oh my god, they get balls hard sometimes.
What's the fun?
Yeah, that's how it goes, right? Like I feel like this is very similar to like the kind of stuff they do in Bayonetta or DMC or like any of those games, which also have similar like secret missions that sort of start easy, and then as you play through the game and get more of them, they start to become extremely
They're
difficult.
like those secret missions that you did in your DMC playthrough.
Yeah, totally. Which is sort of a staple of the genre, like since that first Devil May Cry.
So these secret missions aren't necessary. You just do them for like bonus stuff, I imagine.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Like, do you like buy moves in between levels and do that sort of thing?
Yeah, which is what this sort of
gets
thing
you
is
more
kind of
points
important
that.
for.
Right.
Yeah, just activating the moves I found awkward in the game because you're not really using. I don't know if there's different like control modes, but like, can you draw on the touchpad with your stylus to activate like the sword, for instance, or do you have to use the like the what is it, the left joystick?
Right stick.
Right stick. Okay, yeah, because you're drawing with that too. I didn't know what I was drawing most of the time.
You could do either one. I just use the right stick because I don't have to like take my fingers off my buttons.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I feel like that's sort of the issue with the Wii U as a, I don't know, as like from a gameplay perspective with that device, which is like, or at least in that context of like an action game, like it's one thing for whatever that Kirby game that was a sequel to Canvas Curse that came out
On the Wii U?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was called, but I know what you're talking about.
Like that's one thing because that game is like you're always on the touchpad the entire time. I feel like it's harder to do that switch when you're playing an action game like this.
Yeah.
And then you have to go and draw.
Oh,
Yeah,
Rainbow
it is.
Curse. Rainbow Curse.
Rainbow Curse, yeah.